Hey, welcome back everybody. We're going to pick up where we left off in the last video. So in the last video we created this screen here and in Android it's called an activity, but we have this activity here and it has a button, but right now the button doesn't do anything. So whenever I hit it, it doesn't do anything. What we did do is we set up something in the logcat. We have our log statement there, so we can go to logcat and see it says button was pressed. So if I go back to the emulator, you'll see every time I hit the button adds a new record there. So that's all cool, but we want to make it go to a new screen. So as soon as you hit that, it'll go to a new screen will pop up. So let's go ahead and get started. So if let's go ahead and go to the left, open up projects there, then select Android. Then what we're gonna do is, and if it looks all closed like that, you can just double click on App, Java, and then there'll be 3 COM files inside of here. Go ahead and click on the first one. And then when I set up this project, I set it up as example, but whatever is there, just open up main activity. So here's our main activity. Now go up one level, so the package that it's inside of, and right click and go to new. And then there are all kinds of stuff you can add. You can add graphics, you can add images, you can add all kinds of stuff. All we want to do is Kotlin file class. And I'll call this one, we'll call this AboutMe. And it can be anything here, but AboutMe is a good name. I'm going to go ahead and select class and hit OK. And you're not going to see that screen, but that's okay. So here's our new class. So you'll notice now we have 2 classes. We have main activity there, which has a bunch of code in there. And then we have AboutMe. So what we need to do is we need to tell this AboutMe class, and it's identified by class, but we need to tell this class that this is a new screen. So what we can do is we can do, go right after there and do that, a colon, and do app compat activity. And you'll notice as soon as you start to type that, it's kind of like autocomplete, and it pops up there, and all you have to do is hit enter and it fills the rest of it out. Now we need those kind of brackets, and our activity is now working just fine. Well, not quite yet, but this is our new class. So we have a class called AboutMe, and it's going to say, hey, this AboutMe class is basically going to be a new screen. So remember, a new screen is it's called an activity in Android. So here we go. So I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to make some space, and I'm going to do, I think it's Control Enter on Mac, and that you can type and use. There's another number of methods there. So see, there's a keyboard shortcut for override there. So that's Alt O, I think, right? Alt O. No, what was it? I usually use this keyboard shortcut. That's why I don't do it. But anyway, or there's another way to get to it. You can just start typing on create, because that's the one that we want. So yeah, so there's many ways to add methods here. You can do it on Mac. It's Control Enter, and then you can click on overrides, and this pops up a little box, and you can start typing on create, and it selects it for you. So if I hit on create, now it adds a little bit of code for us. Or there's another way. You can just put your mouse there, click there, and start typing on create, and you'll see that we want this one right here. So I'll go ahead and hit on that. So here's this is basically saying onCreate is called every time, it's called every time the screen comes on, or every time that this activity comes to the screen. So if I go back to the emulator, right now we're on did I duplicate main activity? I must have done something wrong. Don't know why that's there. Anyway, so this main activity here, whenever we're on this screen here, it means, hey, we're on this main activity. So let's go ahead and go back to AboutMe, and here we go. So now we're going to add a new layout, and we'll do this. Put your mouse just after the super.onCreate and type set content view, and you'll see it automatically selects this for you. So go ahead and hit the first one. And then this one, we need to type something. Type r.layout. We'll call this activity about me. There we go. So you'll notice there's some red text here, and that means that's an error. So it says unresolved reference activity about me. So just click on there once and do Option Enter on a Mac. I think it's Alt Enter on a Windows, and we'll have some options here to fix this. So what can we do to fix this? Let's go ahead and do the first option, create layout resource file. So I'm going to do that, and it pops up this this dialog. I'm going to go ahead and everything is just fine right there. Hit OK. And it pops up this new activity AboutMe.xml. So let's go back to About Me, and this should get rid of all the errors. So now you'll notice that it doesn't have the red icons, or it doesn't have the red lines underneath there. That means it's fixed. So there's couple more things we need to do. So to set this activity up, let's go ahead and if we put our mouse over here, we'll see there's an error. So, or not an error, but there's just a suggestion for us. So what we need to do is click on it once and do Option Enter or Alt Enter on a Mac, I think, and select Add Activity to Manifest. Manifest is a file kind of like a manifest is a file that keeps track of all the screens in the app. We can actually open it up here. So if we open up there, here's our Android activity, or here's our Android manifest, and this is kind of like where we put all our screens. So if we look through this, we can see we have one activity called Main Activity and another activity called About Me, but you don't really need to look at this screen. It just does it automatically. Okay, so if we go back to the emulator, you'll notice, hey, we hit the button now, but it doesn't do anything. So let's go back to Main Activity, and inside of this big button, set OnClickListener, because this is going to be called anytime somebody clicks on the button. Let's go to the end here and let's do startActivity. There are a lot of options, but let's go ahead and select the first one here that has intent. So go ahead and click on that, and then we'll do type intent, and then put that, and then put this. It's not importing here. So go ahead and do Option Enter to import that. Actually, no, let's not do that yet. So so go ahead and follow along, intent, and then hit Enter. It automatically imports that, and then do the opening parenthesis and do this, and then do About Me class.java. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. So it's basically going to say, hey, whenever there's the big button, whenever somebody clicks on it, do all of that. So first, log something to the console down there, which you saw in the last video. And the next one is start a new activity. And intent is kind of what we need. That's just the code you need to write. So start activity is going to start About Me. Okay, so I'm going to save it. Now I'm going to go ahead and run it and go back to the emulator, and let's see what happens. So give it a second to build. It says Gradle build running down there. And there's some progress bar here. This usually takes a couple of, it could take up to a minute, I guess. It's going kind of slow. It usually takes only like 10 or 15 seconds. But for whatever reason, it's taking a little bit longer. And here we go. Now it says installing APK. So it's installing it on the app there. And here we go. So here's our screen. Now let's go. I'm going to go ahead and click on button. And let's see what happens. So it pulled up a new screen. But the reason it's all blank, the reason this is all blank is because if we go to About Me, and if we hold down the Command key, or Control key, I think, on Windows, and click on Activity, and it opens up Activity About Me, and you'll see this is blank. So let's do something else. Let's grab a button, and let's put a button in the top right. So I'm going to click there, then to constrain it, click, drag, let go, click, drag, let go, and I'm going to go ahead and save that. Then let's go ahead and go and run it again, and this should work. So we should have a button in the top left for the main activity, so it's installing APK now. So here's a button in the top left, and as soon as I click on it, it opens up the new screen, and the new screen has a button on the top right. So we're clearly going from content main there to activity About Me. So hopefully you learned something. I'm gonna try to make 1 or 2 more videos today. Hopefully you learned something about creating a new activity, going from main activity to About Me. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll try to respond. But yeah, just leave a comment. I know I'm kind of busy, but leave a comment and I'll try to respond. Thanks.